Speaking of stepping away from things, you stepped away from the
I
pod.
mean, like,
Uh,
this is episode 151. I mean, we've both been off for like 6 months. Neither of us have potted. This is great. Back in the game,
been,
baby.
it's been a while. It's been a while. How you doing? How you feeling?
Do we really need apps? Like, what would be your like one solid app that you would keep on your phone?
Well, I've been thinking about this lately. Well, it should get easier. I will say I don't know if you wanted to cover this today, but you had texted me a link to some research article where they like been able to completely automate doing academic research.
Oh yeah,
What did you think about that one?
I think that's incredible. And your response is apt. Is like it's bound to happen.
Welcome to Directionally Correct, a people analytics podcast with your host, Cole Napper. And today's guest is Scott Hines, previous co-host of Directionally Correct for a Cole and Scott episode. Hey, Directionally Correct fans. This podcast is dedicated to you to help educate and entertain you on how to effectively bring workforce intelligence and AI into the workplace. If you're looking to stay connected to the podcast, make sure to subscribe to Directionally Correct Substack newsletter, watch videos on Spotify or YouTube, or listen to the podcast on your app of choice. If you're looking to build up your skills this year, sign up for the Data Driven HR Academy at datadrivenhracademy.com, where you'll learn key concepts from Cole's book, People Analytics. And if you're looking to hear from Cole directly, reach out to him at colenapper.com. As always, all opinions are our own, and thanks for being a listener. Like, remember like your last day of high school?
Mm-hmm.
I had all these like feelings like, oh my God, high school is ending. And like this like end of an era. And like, I'll never, be able to go to a high school football game again as a student or whatever. Like somebody else is going to sign my yearbook. I have none of that.
I kind of get that when like someone around me that I like leaves. Like I feel like the need to buddy up to them a little bit more. Is it some sort of weird innate, drive?
Yeah.
But then they leave and you're like, they're gone. I guess I'll never talk to them again.
This is it.
Yeah. Like you see someone like friend you on LinkedIn, you're like, see you later, bud.
Well, speaking of stepping away from things, you stepped away from the pod.
I mean, like, this is episode 151. I mean, we've both been off for like 6 months. Neither of us have potted. This is great. Back in the game, baby.
It's been a while. How you doing? How you feeling?
I'm good. Like, I'm expanding my already prodigious horizons as usual. Collecting iconic
How are you
wins.
expanding? Tell the people, they want to know.
No, I mean, what about a year and a half ago, my mother passed away, and like it caused me to like sort of reassess what I'm doing, like, and the pod it's a big time sink. I mean, we can talk about this, like what actually goes into it and this sort of thing, but there's an opportunity cost associated with everything we do. And I feel like I had already received my undergrad PhD education in people analytics doing this pod for 3.5, 4 years, whatever the heck it was at the time, probably about 3.5 years. And I'd done the pod. I know what it's all about. I talked to a bunch of people, and like largely thanks to you, amazing connections, a lot of great insights. But I'd done it, so
Yeah.
but I still love talking to you. And so here we are.
I love talking to you too, man. I'm glad you're still willing to do these Cole and Scott episodes, because even then, and even with how much I look forward to them, they're a lot of work. There's no free lunch, as they say in civics.
I gotta say that I didn't put as much effort into like structuring the articles as I had in the past. I was like, it's Cole's machine. He can carry a little bit if I don't. But yeah, once again, like it's an hour or so last night, finding stuff to talk about and like kind of making notes on it. And it's a thing. And doing it every week the way we did it and you continue to do it. It's it's a commitment. It's a lot.
It's wild. It's so wild.
How's it
Well,
go
like,
how's
what
it
are
going
like,
alone? How's it going alone?
um, we haven't really talked because I think we switched after you wrapped up, but I got a new editor, man. It made a world of difference.
Really?
I know this is like behind the scenes stuff that none of our listeners care about, but I had gotten to this point where I had been through like 3 podcast editors in like 6 months, and I wanted to quit.
Yeah.
It's like it's so much. Having a good editor, on the other hand, makes it so much easier. So yeah, our editor, and I'm not going to mention his name on here, but thank you so much for being helpful. Like, you're making my life so, I can't tell you, so much measurably better. So thank you for what you do, and I really, really appreciate you.
Maybe you can like splice in that previous editor's I don't know, Eastern European quotes like the confusion matrix.
I forgot about him. He was our first
I
one.
used to complain to you like, I don't think this makes any sense. No fucking sense at all. But like I came to
It
love
only
it. It's like, okay, this is kind of funny.
it only made sense to like us, which I'm sure everybody was like, "Why is there some Eastern European guy jumping in the middle of this podcast?" But
I used to
yeah.
complain to you like, yeah, this makes no sense, dude.
Well, like, I'll say this because you and I, when we were prepping for this, I mentioned it. I was like, people ask me all the time, like, "Where's Scott? When's Scott coming back?" Apparently, no one has like reached out to you to ask how you're doing. So, how are you do? Are you doing good? Like, because they ask me, and I always say, like, I think Scott's doing good, but like, how are you doing?
Superman does good. I do well. I'm doing well. That's what I know there. Uh, and to say that no one's reached out may or may not be the case because I don't check my messages, as you know.
No, fair,
People
fair.
could very well be reaching out and me just not seeing them. But no,
Yeah.
things are going well. I started a Substack, largely based around network analytic questions that I get quite often. It's called the Disconnect. I don't know. I have 7, 8 posts currently. We'll see how long I continue that. Just like everything else, I'm trying to pick off topics that come up frequently for me, put them in about a page or so, just very quick, dense insights that I can just share off because these things come up, like I said, all the time. And hopefully, other folks out there can take a look at it and find it somewhat interesting.
Well, hit us with something that, first of all, that's really cool. That's super cool. You're doing that. I actually, you didn't even tell me you were doing it. I actually saw it on Substack. It like recommended like people you should know. And it's like Scott Hines, The
You
Disconnect. And
should
I'm like, this
know it.
is cool. Yeah.
I mean,
Well
that's the
done, man.
network effect right there.
Well, any of the articles that you're like especially passionate about?
I started off with questions around like how to bridge disconnected groups, disconnected silos. You got like a siloed organization, so the question always comes up: well, how should we attack it? And there's like a methodological process to that. One of the things that I get quite often is, okay, someone is really well connected, or someone's like really unconnected. Is that good or bad? Or like they bridge groups, is that good or bad? It's like, well, it depends. Like typical IO answer, right? So there's a plus side to being really well connected, i.e., Cole Napper, and there's a plus side to being Scott Hines, really disconnected. And there's cons to both of these things as well, right? So I mean,
Yeah.
your greatest strength could be your greatest weakness as well.
I say this jokingly, but I tell people this sometimes. Like, there's a 2x2 chart, and it goes on one axis, it's well known versus not well known, and the other axis is rich, not rich. And the worst quadrant to be in is well known and not rich. So,
I think that's what the WNBA is working on right now. Like they're trying to do their
ooh,
collective bargaining agreements. Like I get their side, not to make this into a WNBA sports podcast, but I get their
yeah,
side. It's like we are on TV every night. We're playing in front of fans. The numbers dubious. I don't know.
debatable.
People are actually showing up, a few anyway. Uh, and on the other side, it's like, well, the league's not making money, so we can't really pay you more. So like you got the situation where you got famous people making very little money.
They're in the wrong quadrant.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
terrible quadrant to be in. Yeah.
I mean, it's just like my failed rap album. Dude, that didn't go
I
well at all.
what was it about?
People analytics.
You wanna
What
talk
do you
about it?
think?
I don't know. I never
It
came
wasn't a
across it.
seller.
Substack never recommended your rap
Oh
album to me. I
man, I
apologize.
gotta get on them. Talk it up.
Yeah. Well, you are you going to Saab this year?
Oh yeah, 100%. Can't wait. I have a session. Everyone should come. Thursday morning. I got such a sweet time slot. 10:30 in the morning. Hour-long session. It's called Change My Mind. It's gonna be totally interactive. So people are gonna get up on stage and say like some sort of like crazy statement, like
Mhm.
leadership is dead, and
Yeah.
then have about 4 minutes to defend that position, present facts on that case, and then we're going to vote beforehand. How many people agree with that? Present the position. People are going to vote afterwards, and we'll crown a winner. Hopefully, encourage some debate. We did it in was that was Chicago. They had that crazy like rat tunnel hamster trail under the
Yeah, that
city.
was weird.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did it there. It was a massive success. So I encourage everyone to come Thursday morning. It's I think the room's like 50 people. So it may be tight. We could be violating fire
It
codes if things go well.
I hope they go well. I hope you guys violate some fire codes. It's very much like an intelligent squared debate, but changed my mind. I love it. The voting, all of
I
it.
think you and I connected some time ago on this. I think it was 2017. I got the original idea and I put it out on Twitter
Mhm.
and got like a massive response. But at the time, it was called "Change My Mind." IO Psych is dead, which
Yeah.
I don't know with AI. That's a different topic.
I think you might dust it off in 2027. Who knows?
Deep psyop, I believe, killed it. Like they gave me a rejection, but no rationale why it was rejected back
Yeah.
then. Uh, But
Oh
last year,
man.
I had folks just meeting me in the poster sessions where I like to hang out and asking like, "What's up? Why are you not doing it?" It's like, "Hey,
Yeah.
didn't make it."
That's my trick. I tell people is Scott. He's not going to reply to your LinkedIn messages. You can find him in the poster session room though. It's
And I will
if you
talk to
want,
you. I will talk to you
he
about
will.
anything. Yeah.
So if you want to find him, he's a man of mystery, but he is
Do
findable.
you not get like anxious? Like I see like the email counts, I see like text counts, and I'm like, ah, god damn, notification. It's painful to see something come through.
I don't know. I'm pretty sophisticated with notifications and spam and stuff. So my life, if something gets through to me, it's meant to get to me,
Yeah.
right? And so anything else that I probably don't want to hear from, I'm not going to hear. I'm not going to see. It's like it never even happened. So I actually don't have an overflood of overstimulus of some of this stuff because I just curate things so heavily. There's probably a lot of false negatives out there, and I apologize to you for people who don't make it through the great filter. But maybe rethink your life. I don't know.
Well, A, how do you do it? And B, as the great Dr. Tillman Sheets said, if it's important, they will write back.
Yeah, that's very
How do
much
you
a
do it? Just like
faculty.
filters? Or was that what you're doing? Block?
Or just like go no notifications. Like they're not allowed.
Oh, you just block them?
Like just block it. Like I mean, like I literally I'm trying to think. I think there might be like one, maybe two apps on my phone that allow notifications. Like that's it.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And then like even within those apps, most apps I turn off the notifications in the app and like completely.
Yeah.
And so like for me to like check something, I have to willingly go in and check it myself. And then so there's whole areas where I just don't check at all.
The notifications are such a distraction, right? And like this is
Yeah.
behavioral economics right there. It's like they know how to hone in and get your attention and keep you hooked, right?
Yeah. Like when you're registering for an app and it's like, can we send you notifications? I don't think I've ever hit yes.
Yeah.
No, no.
Um,
Even if I need it, like I'm willing to sacrifice it.
do we really need apps? Like, what would be your like one solid app that you would keep on your phone?
Well, I've been thinking about this lately, because with like Claude, Cowork, with Zapier, with I'm thinking about switching all my stuff to Notion. So like everything that I do, like in Google Sheets or OneNote or in all these disparate places, I'm thinking about putting it all in Notion, and then just using Claude to and Zapier to completely automate like all this stuff, so that I really do get down to where I have like zero other apps, or like I only integrate with like one or two places. And I don't know if it's possible. Like people tell me with OpenClaw or whatever it's called now
Yeah.
that you can do that. I still don't believe them, and I'm not brave enough to like ruin the security of my computers to actually try it. Um, but I want to get there. I want to get to a point where like I only interface with like, let's call it a command center. You go into the command center, and
Right.
that's where you literally manage everything. I don't think it's necessarily possible yet, but I want to get there.
I'm experimenting with the open claw, and it's my problem is I do so much like techie shit during the day, going into SageMaker and dealing with Python and
Yeah.
obviously R, got tons of R. The thought of sitting in the damn seat and like dealing with like terminal commands is
Hmm.
so painful. But I did buy a mini Mac Mini, and I'm about halfway through the process of setting it up. I just can't bring myself to do it, despite the potential incredible savings on the back end.
Because like here, because you're at a certain point, what do they call it, like the winner's fallacy or something, or the like when if you win a bet in an auction, you actually are the person who feels the worst about the outcome. There's like a name for it, but it's like, what if you figure out that it really does optimize your life? Well, now you're on this air gapped, Mac Mini, and now you have to run your whole life out of that. It's like I don't want that either.
I approach it as a fun project. At least that's what I'm telling myself. Like, can you just get it working? A little tinkering. I love to tinker.
Yeah, you are a tinker.
But man, like just one more. I've got tons of like. So taken away from the pod, that time also gets just filled with work, and my work has got a bunch of technical components to it. So yeah, as opposed to like spending that hour prepping for directionally correct, or several hours throughout the week, that just
Yeah.
gets filled with technical work. Yeah.
Well, it should get easier. I will say, I don't know if you wanted to cover this today, but you had texted me a link to some research article where they like been able to completely automate doing academic research.
Oh yeah.
What did you think about that one?
I think that's incredible. And your response is apt. Is like it's bound to happen. So this I don't have the link anymore.
It doesn't matter.
It,
Just
it
like,
doesn't matter, but it's this website you can go to, and evidently it's doing end to end research without any sort of human guidance or intervention or input whatsoever. So it thinks up questions to ask. It has apparently access to certain data. It runs the analyses. It shows you exactly what it's doing, all the way through a publishable paper, with citations, etc. So it goes out and does the research. Um, pretty incredible. A little unsettling.
yeah.
Uh,
Well, you were telling me like, remember we recorded with Joy Oliver?
oh yeah,
Yeah. I mean, that was wild. That wasn't that long ago. Like, I love Joy. She's amazing.
that
But
was like October 2022.
yeah. So I
Yeah.
guess not quite 4 years ago. Man, I guess it is a long time ago.
That was the
But
episode that Chat GBT came out, the 3.5 or 3.0. I can't remember at the time.
yeah, it was whatever it like sprung onto the scene. Um, I remember weirdly I was in my parents' dining room recording that. I think that was before we had video. So it is wild how far we've come.
um, yeah, and you can just feel like everything's speeding up. And I use Kiro for a lot of things I do now. I can already sense myself becoming like forgetful of certain like R commands that used to just be like on top of it. But then again, I can produce way more fun stuff now too, way
Yeah.
quicker. So I mean, there's trade-offs.
What is Kiro? I'm not
Oh,
familiar.
Kira, it's software. I don't know if Amazon owns it. I don't know who owns it, but you can just point it to a folder and say like, "Hey, look at this data set. Build me a report from it. Make some
Mhm.
code. Do this crazy code, and you just talk to it, and
Yeah.
it'll like rename all the files in your folder. It'll kind of anything you want, really, and it's I was dubious of it, but then I started playing with it. I was like, "Holy shit, man, this is amazing!" Like, I got buddies that make. He says he puts it just up overnight and like gets all the permissions right, so it just doesn't need any sort of input, and it'll make like an Apple app, overnight for him that he can put into the Apple App Store. And
What could go wrong?
I yeah. I can't tell you exactly what I'm doing with it, but
Yeah,
let me
sure.
just say I highly encourage anyone to go out there and play with it. I think you get like a month for free, and
Mhm.
I definitely have a month for free, and you get a certain number of tokens or whatever. But it's pretty cool. It's pretty damn cool.
Yeah, you could ask it to run overnight to figure out a way to get it for free forever, and it'd probably figure out a way.
Yeah, hammer down on this. We're gonna need it big time. But I mean, it's also I feel like just throwing my hands up in the air with all the different tools that are available. It's like, "Oh, have you seen the new release of this thing?" Like, I don't know. It's whatever.
Do you do this? I'm wondering because this is something I do, which I try to simultaneously sort of live like a caveman completely off the grid while
Yeah.
also being like very up to date with stuff. And I know that sounds like an oxymoron, but I think I don't know if I've perfected it, but I think I'm as good as you can be because you're either always on the bleeding edge but you have to be inundated with every false positive out there that's going on in the world. And like all the spam, all the marketing of like all the hype.
Oh, yeah.
And so I try to separate myself from as much of that as possible while also trying to stay up to date. Is that first of all, is that possible? And second of all, do you try to do that yourself?
With limited success. I follow this guy. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But he's all over the AI space and kind of understands what Anthropic's doing, what Amazon's doing, what Google's doing,
Mhm.
all these different companies. He's just like very sort of with it. But he posted a video the other day and he was describing surfing the bubble, and he thought that was kind of a double entendre that everyone thinks
Yeah.
AI is a bubble, this sort of thing. But
Yeah.
he talked about like sitting on the skin of the bubble and identifying where humans can add value and where AI can have value. But you got to be really good at that exploration and openness to understanding what's coming down the pipe, without being too far in the future and too, laggy as well. It's kind of an interesting concept.
Yeah, it's well here's like another thing. It's like it's impossibly to be up to date on everything in every
Yeah.
sector what's going on. So you have to choose. So once you realize that you have to choose, then it's a prioritization argument, not a moral failing of yourself that you're not up to date on everything.
I mean, there's people around me that kind of pride themselves on this. Like, once again, like, Claude 18.6 is
Yeah.
out. It's not cool. It's called, Grass Monkey. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Like,
And
I
it broke every one of my other applications that was built on Claude
don't.
17.6.
The downstream impacts are devastating. It's so cool.
It's so cool. It destroyed everything.
I got to start from nothing. It's great.
Oh, that's so funny.
Uh, I feel like such an ass. I never asked about your PSYOP experience.
Yeah, well you're not, and that's okay. Um I think so PSYOP this year I have two presentations and then one of those half day Friday sessions that with Alexis Fink and Madhura Chakrabarti, I think is how you say her last name. She's at Insight 222 and obviously Alexis Fink, previous guest on the podcast.
Wait,
But
it's
it's
like a
about
workshop? You're doing like a workshop thing?
yeah, it's a workshop and it's on I can't remember the name. I should remember this, but it's like building the ROI of people analytics or something like that. A lot of stuff related to my book, and then they had done a
Yeah.
previous session like that at the SIB Leading Edge Consortium, so they tagged me in, much like you do in a wrestling match or something like that. But tag team, it's gonna be good. Yeah, and then I'm getting in, getting out, doing all the fun stuff. But gonna be a good psyop this year. New
Man.
Orleans.
PSYOP cage match. Cole Napper, Alexis Fink. Another
Who
name.
will win?
Who will win?
One person enters, or two people enter, one man leaves.
They're both in your academy, right? The Cole
Alexis
Academy.
is. Yeah, the Data Driven HR Academy. So it's me, Alexis, Gina Tabus, and then Sonali Kumar. Good group of people. Speaking of new stuff,
Wait,
I'm about
before we leave this topic, so you're doing 2 presentations and a workshop?
I think they're panels. I have not prepared a lot.
I'm kind of with you. Like, it's in the back of my mind, but I'm not in like panic mode yet. You know that you get like a week or two out.
Well, one of them's a debate, and I'm not.
You're fine. You're fine at that.
I can't remember which side of the debate I'm on, and so it's like, well, I'm gonna figure out which side I care a lot about between now and PSYOP.
That'd be great. Just walk in and be like, we both agree. we fully agree.
We settled it. It's over. We got it. We got the solution.
Man, there are rare instances like in real life where two people are arguing, but they're arguing the same point, but they're still mad at each other for some reason. This happens about once a year.
Oh yeah, and the violent agreement kind of thing. We used to do that growing up. Me and like my siblings and cousins and stuff. We'd be agreeing about stuff. We'd be like getting progressively louder in our agreement. Like, I agree even more than you do.
I can see the Napper household being like this. Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, New Orleans. We'll finally have some good food. We'll get some good food down there.
It's gonna be so good. My mental space is in New Orleans a lot of times, for sure.
New Orleans. So I think I get in on Tuesday, and I think I'm leaving Sunday, staying for like quite a while. That's a long time in New Orleans. It feels like a. You and I both obviously lived in northern Louisiana for some time, and I think we've talked about this before. Like, some folks, like their dream, as opposed to the rest of the United States, people want to live in like LA, or they want to live in New York City. People in Louisiana, teens, young adults, want to live in New Orleans. Right? It's just a cool city, but it's not that livable, man. It's pretty rough.
It's a hard place to live. You gotta want to live there.
You definitely gotta want to live there. Yeah,
and people do. And it is culturally, it's like a different country. It just is. It's probably the only place in the United States that's like going to a foreign country.
All that the French Quarter, like you walk through it and you're like, why does it all look Spanish? Right? It's like all Spanish architecture, but it's like because it all burned down and they rebuilt it in the Spanish style, but kept the name.
Yeah, well, it's
incredible history.
I took Louisiana history as a student.
I imagine you did
as a wee Todd, and Louisiana was originally colonized by the Spanish, and it actually changed hands multiple times. I think the Spanish had like 2 or 3 times, and then they always say it's the French heritage that comes in because they had all the Acadians that moved down to South Louisiana from Canada. That's why the term Cajun exists, is like a slang way of saying Acadian.
Wow,
that is the French influence, but a lot of New Orleans was actually built by the Spanish, and that's why it looks like more like Barcelona than like Paris.
Well, yeah, but everyone knows that.
But everyone knows that.
Not kid.
Yeah, everyone took Louisiana history class, so yeah.
No, that's really fun. I never really thought about that. Like, because of course in like junior high, I had to take Texas history. But
Yeah.
of course, you took Louisiana history. Not that like you
Well,
took Texas history, but
except in Texas, they just call it history because,
the way it is,
yeah, the
the
way
way
it
it
is,
was.
the way it should be. Yeah, that's
More on
Texas.
that later. I got a little Texas history for you in the
Oh,
nerdery.
okay, fascinating. Well, you stepped on my announcement here a second ago,
I apologize. I wanted to like make sure we rounded up, but
but
please,
yeah, much to
please.
your chagrin, I wouldn't tell you where I'm going, but I'll tell you where I'm going now. Um, so I am moving to another company called HR Bench, and
Wow, this is where like we play
more.
applause and stuff.
Yeah, but we could probably get the editor to add in an
Yeah,
applause
yeah.
line. Yeah, the crowd goes
We
wild.
need a drum roll leading up to this too.
Yeah, I haven't started yet, so I can't say exactly what I'll be doing. but
Oh, interesting.
yeah, but I'll be going there by the time this episode comes out. That information should be public knowledge. So I wanted to share it here. You're sworn to secrecy because I'm trying to take some time off and not have everybody bug me in between. But
Well, once
yeah,
again, no
man.
notifications. No one's gonna bug me.
Yeah, fair enough. So yeah, it's big news. I'm really excited, and they're actually going to be kind of a perma sponsor of the podcast too, which is going to be nice.
That
So
is so cool. Are they gonna have a psyop presence? I guess
I don't.
you.
I mean, I'll be there.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know. I will figure that out. So TBD.
Well, congratulations.
Thanks, man. I usually don't talk about employers that much on the podcast, but since they're sponsoring, I'm like, hey, might as
Hey,
well.
let's do it, man.
Let's do it. So exciting times. If you're not familiar with them, you will become familiar with them because I'm getting back in the startup space. I always had kind of that little startup bug in me, and we're going to be doing some cool stuff. So be on the lookout. More to come on that as time progresses.
Do you surely you know a little bit about HR Bench? What do they do in general? Like what sort of services they offer?
Yeah, I think, and again, I'm still haven't started yet, so still a learning curve going on
Yeah.
here. But I would say, um, insofar as like companies that have less than 10,000 employees, it is going to take over that market for people analytics, workforce planning, employee listing, all the good things, AI natively integrated
Yeah.
into all of that, and it's going to be really cool. It's going to be going to kind of like a down market solution again, which is fun and exciting and fast innovation cycles. I'm pretty pumped. It's going to be awesome.
I was having a conversation with another IO recently, and that sort of market may be the prime space for IOs in the future. Sort of like
Mhm.
smaller companies
Yep.
that don't have a big built out data infrastructure, but still need employee insights, employee talent, this sort of stuff. Other tech companies, a lot of AI, heavy AI utilization. It's going to be difficult for a while to figure out where or how employees contribute in certain ways. Uh,
Well,
but
think
I,
about it. Here's like a fun thought experiment to run.
yeah,
If all the AI people are true or right, and they're actually gonna, a lot of positions are gonna be heavily automated over the amount of time. So all big companies are going to become like mid-sized companies, and all mid-sized companies are going to become small companies, and all small companies are going to become like startups, right? And so I look at that and I say, okay, there's going to be a huge compression of these companies. What market do you want to play in? Or you want to play in the market where there's going to be a long tail, a long future there, and I think that space is going to be really exciting as we move forward.
hmm. Plus, in a small company, and I've worked at a couple, it's you can do a lot, right? There's a lots of green space for you to play in, and like you can make big advancements. I think you would talk to her. Well, I won't pin you to the wall, but like a company like Pepsi, you got a bunch of IOs already working there that have already done so many of the cool big rocks that are out there. Now it's like a bunch of optimization and trying to squeeze out some smaller, more narrow insights, albeit important.
I actually have a old Pepsi colleague, that very well known person. I'm trying to get to come on the podcast soon to talk about some cool stuff from back in the day. So I'm actually hoping that works out. But it does. Your question or your statement brings up an interesting point, which is like, those teams that had like 50 or 100 IO
Yeah.
psychologists, or the 300 person people analytics team of yesteryear. Will you do as much cool stuff in the future, or will or can you do like have a 5 person function in it function as if it were 300 people because of the scale that you had? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm a bit leery. I'm a bit leery. So the good thing about having a big workforce or a big group is that the diversity of knowledge that you come across in a small group, say 5 people, especially a group that's worked together for a long period of time. It's like, Cole, I've heard everything you can say. Like I know what your background, I know like your preferences for certain aspects of the work, or like you always go to, personality as your key fact. It's like I get it. And like, but having that fresh blood is critical.
Are you saying you have a mental digital twin of me already queued up?
Not you. You do such a good job, and probably part of the podcast, or just like having so many jobs and knowing so many people, that you have such a diverse and wide set of knowledge that you can speak on pretty much any IO or people analytics topic. But I'm saying, like, when you get in the trenches with
Yeah.
people for a long period of time, you start seeing their like you can see their cognitive pathway, how carved
Hmm.
it is, and they always veer a certain way.
Yeah.
And like you can easily predict that. And if you have just like say 5 people, it's really limiting on the sort of things you can do because you get a mental block
Yeah.
and the ideas just don't flow.
So it sounds like the prescription is they all need to take psychedelics, because I do hear
Oh,
that that
psilocybin, yeah.
that just like completely all the grooves in your mind get worn down, and now you got a blank slate again.
Oh yeah. Let's like totally restructure our belief system. Let's do this.
Yeah, let's
That's
start.
gonna be the next pod. You and me just psilocybin, and like we're gonna go in places you wouldn't, and we'll get in a one of those flotation tanks.
We're we're already recording it right now. We just don't realize it.
Or we're probably in a simulation as we speak.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
but have you ever heard of the Pepsi paradox? Now we're coming back to Pepsi. It's kind of an
I
interesting
have not.
phenomenon.
No. Is this like a meme or something? No, I haven't heard
No,
this.
no, no. This is a real phenomenon. So back in the early '90s, they did the Pepsi challenge,
Mm-hmm.
comparing blind taste test, Coke versus Pepsi. People prefer the flavor of Pepsi over Coke, but still prefer to buy Coca-Cola over Pepsi, just through like brand loyalty or advertising or just association, whatever it is. But consistently, people prefer the taste of Pepsi over Coke.
That's wild.
So
I
you're fighting over something that is not taste at some point.
Yeah, I guess it's signaling. At a certain point, you're signaling something. I don't know what it is, but you're signaling something that what it says about you. I was
Oh,
thinking about this.
you're hoity-toity with your Coca-Cola over there, like getting your
Yeah.
helicopter pad painted. I see how it is.
Well, I was thinking about this earlier. We were talking about like Open Claw. I always think about, for some reason, that makes me think of the White Claw.
Yeah.
And like people always make fun of people for drinking White Claws, but they actually taste good. And so it's kind of like maybe White Claw is suffering from the same thing that Pepsi is suffering from. That it actually tastes better, but nobody wants to drink it because you don't want to seem like you're a loser. I don't know.
Ain't no laws when you got the claws. That's what I know.
Guess so. I don't know,
Well, I
man.
mean, we get this in Seattle and like definitely in Portland, where you go to the bar and like I'm a Miller Lite guy. It's my longtime adversary, or pardon me, confidant.
Yeah.
Miller Lite. If you order that, they're like, "Oh no, you want the goat milk IPA? That's where it's at." And you're like,
Oof.
I don't want that, dude. I
The
don't want
goat
that.
milk sounds terrible.
No. You want devil's. That's a good one. And you're like, "No, you don't even like it. You look at your face. You hate this."
Yeah, you want the dog hair IPA. It's like, ugh.
Yeah,
You
right?
need dog hair in this. Uh, well, hey, do you want to dust something off? Do you want to do a confusion matrix?
We got Confusion Matrix. The Confusion Matrix.
Welcome to the Confusion Matrix.
That's what
I'm
you
gonna
said.
say Predrag. You did in the Predrag
Predrag.
voice. Predrag's a long time gone, but Predrag, R.I.P.
R.I.P. Hopefully he's doing well out there in the world.
Yeah.
Okay, I got 3 options for you, and if we go through these quickly, maybe we'll do more than one. Do you want random facts? The better you are at these things, the less impressed I am with you. Or what have you done? Random facts,
I
less
feel like
impressive.
the second one sounds funniest to
Okay.
me. So let's try that one.
Okay, this is slightly stolen, but also I kind of think it's really funny. So these are things that the better you are at it, the less I'm impressed with you. And the first one's pickleball. The better you are at pickleball, the less you're like, yeah. No one needs to dominate pickleball. What are you doing?
That is actually, it's funny you say that. I immediately, when you said that, I thought road cycling. And a
Oh,
while back, this is like 2 years
yeah.
ago, I had dogged on road cycling on the podcast, and I had a surprising amount of blowback from road cyclists. So
The road cyclists are
they go hard.
yeah. They are in it.
But I'm doubling down, man. The road cyclists, they're the worst. Oh man.
We get it. You're healthy. Like, come
Yeah.
on.
I've never played pickleball, which is probably surprising because I've been adjacent to it many, many times. So I don't have strong feelings on it, but I could see why if somebody's like super into pickleball, that would be off-putting.
Our company gave us pickleball sets for swag one day, and like they're still like kind of strewn about the office. There is a pickleball court literally like 200 feet from my condo, but it's been taken over by homeless people. It is Seattle. It is what it is. Okay. The second thing that if you're really good at, I'm not impressed with you, is really good at fantasy football. Like, I don't care about your
Mm.
team. If you're the best fantasy football player ever,
Well, I think there's a curvilinear effect there. There's a Goldilocks zone of if you don't follow football at all. Actually, there might be a multimodal distribution. I'm gonna nerd it up here. If you don't follow football at all, you might actually do fine. But like,
just go random effects.
yeah, just random, and you'll probably do better than most like other people. But like the second you get into like a little bit, you're probably extremely biased. You do the worst.
Yeah.
And then as your knowledge goes up in football, you probably get to this kind of like peak of where you're going to do well. Then there's like this point in which you probably start employing like true like data science and AI to optimizing your fantasy football team. And like that's actually probably as good as you're going to get. Then at a certain point, you should probably just become a data scientist rather than a fantasy football player, and you're more likely to be successful at life.
I know some people like this that they
Right?
are way obsessed with fantasy football. It's like if you just turn that knob a little bit, you could make
Yeah.
$200,000 a year.
Yep.
If you
And
just
they,
shift
they
the
try
focus.
to apply it to like sports betting and like justify it. Like, oh yeah, I win 52% of the time and therefore I beat the house. And it's like, yeah, so how much did you make? Like $40,000. Like, great, cool. Come back to me when you like have a real job.
One interesting thing about sports betting is like there are arbitrage instances out there where say one book will say, okay, this team is negative 220 and this team is positive 120.
Yeah.
There's a difference there, and that's just like an odds ratio, right? Of course, you got the vig of the sports, but you could, in theory, bet. I'm sure you could make a function for it, but like $4,000 on one team, 3,500 on the other team. One's guaranteed to win, and that difference is going to pay off in a positive way.
Well, that's the whole reason the VIG exists is because they make their money on what do you call it, volume, not on just trying to even the bet out. But yeah, there are times where there's asymmetries that you can take advantage of, but even then, the house is making money.
Here's another one, buddy. Okay, the better you are at cornhole, the less impressed I am with you. Or washers, if you want to go
I don't
deep.
know if I've ever come across somebody that was like bragging about their like epic levels of cornhole skills. I don't know if I know this person.
You never seen people like roll up with their own like cornhole pads or little
Well, yeah, I've
basketball?
been to a tailgate, yes, but like they're usually very quickly put to shame by their lack of cornhole skills. So
uh, I guess it's kind of like pool, but for some reason pool feels cooler if you're a good pool player.
I think it's like we've talked about like the Lindy effect. I think pool has just existed for longer, therefore it's cooler.
Yeah,
You
or it's just
know?
associated with drinking at a certain point, right? Like you're in a pool hall, you're
Yeah,
drinking,
it's the
you're
same thing.
gambling.
Like White Claw and pickleball are newer, so they seem lamer. But tennis has been around a long time, and so it's cooler.
I'll skip so we have a little bit of time to talk articles. Okay, the better you are at Excel, up to a point, but once you cross that point, it's like okay, you're out of your mind, man. Like you've invested way too much in Excel. You need to go into something deeper.
Yeah, like the VBA and writing crazy formulas across all these like multiple sheets and multiple
Yeah,
places. I mean, even then, even in Excel world, you might as well just move up to like Power BI, right? Like, and you're even staying, platform neutral at that point.
Jesus Christ. I used to work with a guy that would take all of the data and like edit it in Excel and then stick it into R or Python. And I tried to convince him I could not. I was like, if you ever make a mistake here, we can never recreate it. Like we'll never be able to know what it is, where it is. He's like, oh yeah. It's like, no, no, yeah. It's like, no, you need to stop doing that.
No, that's see that you are completely missing the point on this, Scott. That is genius level deception, right?
Okay.
Because now you're just covering your tracks. You can never be second guessed, right? No one can check your work. You're blameless.
There's actually an article that relates to this. I didn't mean to actually bring it up, but data annotation with large language models, lessons from large empirical evaluations. Essentially, it found that there's a very low correlation between what human labeling data is very expensive, time consuming sort of task, but they found that the correlation between what humans put as a label and what LLMs put as a label is very low. But the LLMs were better at it. They had more accurate sort of labeling overall.
I gotta say I'm disappointed in you. Did you jump the gun and pre-nerdery me
I
without
know
nerd?
I'm still continuing the confusion matrix. I'm just
I
like
feel
giving you a
like you
little.
pre-nerderied me.
I could sense your ears wanted some facts. So I like oh they're hungry.
Well, why don't we let's get we're doing nerdery.
You want to do
Welcome to the nerd.
nerdery?
Let's
Let's
do
let's
some
go,
nerdery.
baby. Let's
All
go.
right. Welcome to the nerdery. So continue with what you were saying about this article. Now that we pre-nerderied out.
I told you everything I know about that. Like, I
Okay,
skimmed it real
fair
hard.
enough.
But yeah, yes, okay, so, like, data labeling, it's gonna be a necessary thing for LLMs to understand things. That was another key point from the article that, the relabeling by the LLMs caused the conclusions to be changed on the back end of, a lot of this research. They got, like, 30,000 research studies and relabeled it, something like that.
Well, so I think what the point of this is, which is something I did talk about a little bit in my book, and I think it's probably under discussed because I haven't really heard anybody discussing it other than this article you just mentioned, which is like the processes by which you're managing your metadata for what you're doing and the things like labeling and definitions can vastly impact the output and the efficacy of how you're using these LLMs. And as far as I can tell, like not very many people are talking about it. And so I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll just
Okay.
move on.
Okay. Moving on. Do you want me to hit you with two quick ones on cognitive ability?
Yeah, I love me some cog.
Well, I know you love some cogs. I waited for you. I waited for you, Scott. So this first one, LinkedIn post by this guy named Felix Timpson, but he cited some research from the Journal of Work and Organizational Psychology a meta-analysis on the relationship between cognitive intelligence and the Big Five, assessed by this measure. I'm not going to get into. There's all these big words, but essentially, I'm just very very brief on this one because I want to get your reactions. They proved again that cognitive ability and personality do not overlap. So there's very little relationship between cognitive ability and personality, and therefore, when you're trying to show the relationship between those constructs and job performance, that you're getting kind of unique variance.
Yeah.
And then the second article that I want to hit on just really briefly, it talks about it's from the International Journal of Selection and Assessment. It says, does it matter which subsets we use to measure general cognitive ability and group differences across test composites? So essentially what they go into, and they find that there are subgroup differences, which I don't want to get into because it's like a highly politicized topic, but there are subgroup differences in cognitive ability. So there's certain subtests within cognitive ability that have less subgroup differences and certain ones that have more subgroup differences. So even within cognitive ability, that there are ways that have less disparate impact that you could be looking into. So I thought this was interesting, and kind of the whole Schmidt-Hunter conversation we've had. We've had Paul Sackett, and they're saying that personality can be better predictors than cognitive ability, and then there's these findings that maybe there are subtests within cognitive ability that might be better in this space. So I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on either of these?
Yeah, I mean, those are two sort of very different topics. One, yes, so like conscientiousness and cognitive ability tend to be like the most predictive personality and, obviously G sort of factors that relate to job performance. And those two have virtually no overlap between them, which is why you can combine them and you get these sort of Pareto optimal designs where trying to combine the two to eliminate adverse impact in the overall measure. And it's always like 95% conscientiousness, 5% cog, just because cog has such a adverse impact associated with it. I do believe that cog and openness have a bit of an overlap, or the strongest relation of the big five. Which, I mean, it makes sense, right? It kind of makes sense, like exploring the area, especially if you measure it through, say, like G, this sort of thing. I'm a little bit surprised that they find that there's like no relationship between the two, because it's a common source for both of these things. Like your brain is producing the personality and the cognitive components, which I believe Denise Owens and Kanak, they produced a book in the past several years around this sort of idea of what's the interrelationship between the two. I can't really name it off the top of my head. But I think I'm familiar with the other article you're referencing, where, yes, if you construct a test battery, you could maximize the adverse impact associated with it. So I think mechanical reasoning, that's kind of a male-dominated trait, right? I think punctuation tends to be more female dominated, sort of like this written expression of the words and sorts of. So
cursive writing, are we going way back? I don't even think they teach cursive in school anymore.
Oh my god, I got a story about cursive writing and a way I fucked up like 13 years ago building an assessment, a minor, because someone wrote in cursive bit, but I read it as lit. Anyway, I forgot what my cursive B and L look like, and I totally printed it wrong. Anyway, no, it's interesting considerations if you want to build a cognitive assessment and deal with the ramifications of it. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hit me with the next one you've got.
Yeah, here we go. Let's go for. Check this out. The Alamo acquires the movie used Pee-wee's bicycle.
Okay.
Look at that. It's a national treasure, right?
So I learned something new today.
So, I mean, it's the natural home of Pee-wee's bicycle. As we all know, it's in the basement of the Alamo. And they got this great picture of it in between, I don't know, Davy Crockett's hat and Santa Anna's saber. I don't know what that is. But, yeah, I mean, it's finally home. It's finally home.
A key part of Texas history is restored. I
Wait,
was not. I was unaware that that was lore from Pee Wee Herman.
oh, okay, okay. Have you ever seen Pee Wee Herman?
Yeah, when I was a child, long time ago.
Oh god, that's what everyone knows. That Pee Wee. That's the whole reason he went to the Alamo, went to San Antonio, because the psychic told him that his bicycle was in the Alamo.
I'll be honest. I'm just glad I remember that the name Pee Wee Herman exists because it was so long ago I came across
Damn,
that.
I feel old now. This is awful. This is the worst part of my day.
Worst part of Scott's Day.
Okay,
Well,
hit me.
all right, I got you another quick one. It's actually probably not even worth discussing. I just think it's funny.
Okay.
Um, Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, Attitudes and Social Cognition has an article called Politically Extreme Individuals Exhibit Similar Neural Processing Despite Ideological Differences. So basically, the horseshoe effect is real. Whether you're extremely on one side or extremely on the other side, you're equally dumb. All right.
It's not necessarily related to intelligence. It's just related to essentially a defective personality, right? Is that what I
No,
understood?
it's more complicated than what I said, but
Yeah.
essentially, it's the people on either pole of the spectrum are actually, they're more similar than they are different, and it's funny that they're constantly, what do they call it, like nut cracking online, where you find the craziest person on one side and say they're representative of that side, and or vice versa. It's like,
Oh god.
no, you guys are all the same.
Yeah, you were like the doctor from Idiocracy. He's like, your shit's all up. That's right. That's how you are. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. What you said is like really apt in that you go on the apps and it's like they find the most insane person from the other
Hmm.
political view and they just feed people that over and over. It's like, of course Republicans are dumb as shit. Of course liberals are dumb as shit. Like, because that's all you see.
Yeah,
Um,
and
but
that's super healthy for society.
but I mean, like, go figure. Insane people do insane things. I mean, it seems like
Hmm.
a basic formula there.
Like a tautology.
Check this out. See what you think about this. This is a coffee shop using video surveillance technology to monitor not only employee performance, like how much they're serving coffee here, but also customer, how long they've been in the shop, and just monitor everything here. This is
Yeah.
scary.
On my Substack, in December, I published an article called "The Camera," and it was essentially allegory of sorts about this type of situation where companies are bringing in cameras to monitor everything employees do and catalog it and tag it, and yeah. So this is soft totalitarianism. Yeah, cool.
On one hand, it has a lot of uses, right? It's like, okay, immediate performance feedback, sort of stuff we've been like preaching from IO from a long time. On the other hand, it's Big Brother, and
Yeah,
you went and peed for 18 minutes. That's a long time to pee.
yeah. That's the future we're walking right into. Great stuff. Um, so I'm just so why does no one just like say, "Hey, we ever think about like pumping the brakes on this? Maybe ever
New
think that
from
it
HR
might be a bad
Bench video performance.
That is not what's happening. All right. Well, here I got a more happy one for you. Um, it's called "Happy Today, Richer Tomorrow,"
Okay.
and so this is based on some research. This is about they researched a correlations between a bunch of different things, but they found this interesting correlation between life satisfaction and earnings. And but it was the way that the study worked. They found that you actually can control for the time period. So the happier somebody is earlier in life, the more they make it later in life, right? So you would think it's like the more money they make, the happier they become. I don't know if they tested that or not, but what they did find is just happier people tend to make more money later in life. Which I thought that was very interesting.
That is really interesting. I wonder what that is. Is that like finding your passion? Is that just being easy to get along with? is that field of dreams, if you build it, they will come sort of stuff, you know?
Yeah.
I
I mean,
there's definitely something to optimism. People
mhm.
that have negative thought processes, it's, you know, sort of like hamstrung wisdom, but it's like, well, if you don't give up, you might win, but if you give up, you're definitely gonna lose. You know, that sort of shit,
Yeah.
right? Or like, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Well, I
Mhm.
want to give credit where credit is due. Ludic Stellick, previous guest on the podcast, put together that LinkedIn post, and it was based on some research by Deneve and Fred Oswald, also a previous guest of the podcast. So it's actually a much more complicated study than that, but I just want to harp on that one point about being happy today means richer tomorrow.
I love that. So, be happy. It's Cole's words of wisdom to live by.
It's Pee Wee Herman's bike, returning to the Alamo makes you happy. You'll be richer tomorrow. All the things are related.
Well, you know who's not happy is bosses with Gen Z grads who are being fired just months after being hired. Essentially, bosses point to a lack of motivation or initiative in this group. Bosses also point to unprofessionalism, a lack of organization, and having poor communication skills. Leaders say they have struggled with the latest generation's tangible challenges, including being late to work, meetings, often not wearing office appropriate clothing, and using language inappropriate for the workplace.
I feel like I could dust off an article from 2005 about millennials that says the exact same thing.
This feels different though. Talking to different professors who get to see kids come through, I do think there's something to deal with, like
Mhm.
having to go to high school during the pandemic.
Yeah.
This feels
Or
different
college.
than or college. There's something qualitatively different that's and not to mention having just digital media poured on your brain
Yeah.
from the age of 6 on. It's gotta mess with you, and I think it's being expressed in communication skills, social skills,
Yeah.
ability to
I mean,
show up.
you had introduced it to me because I don't stay up to date on a lot of stuff, but it was a while back. You talked about the Gen Z stare,
The Gen Z stare is real.
and it's a real thing.
It's
Like
real.
I can think of a few people who are like, yeah, that's it. And I don't think there was a millennial stare, when millennials were coming out of college or high school. And I don't know what that is or what caused it, but it's a thing and it's off-putting. I'll say that.
It's wild, isn't it? I had the same initial thought as you did. Like, there's always been like generational research. Like, well, go figure that young people do young people shit because they're not experienced with how the work world works. That's a weird way to say that, but yeah, I think that this generation in particular, and even Alpha, are gonna be. It's gonna be challenging because they were thrown into a really tough situation.
But what's interesting about it is as a society, I think we keep prolonging socialization, right? So
Yeah.
it's like what kids used to learn in their like elementary school gets pushed off to junior high. What you used to get learned in junior high got pushed off to college or high school, and so on and so forth. And eventually, what's getting pushed off is like all of the life skills that you used to learn through the entirety of your education are now being pushed into socialization needs to happen in the office,
Mm-hmm.
right? And at a certain point, you just have to say, "Hey, you've got to become socialized." Like, or as a society, we just all like go into our little caves and never talk to one another, which I think some people would actually prefer, which is weird. But I
Well, I
don't
mean,
know.
if you could just like stare at a screen all day, which a lot of people do, or just play your video games and
Yeah.
like watch the time bleed past. ETS along the same lines. I know you're trying to get to another article. ETS like had shown that we're seeing for the first time ever a dip in intelligence. All
Oh,
right,
really?
maybe that's due to streaming
Yeah.
media, maybe streaming social media, or just a lack of cognitive power or teaching in that pandemic time frame. But yeah, well, we're starting to see a dip. A lot
Oh,
of
you
folks
mean
not qualified to go to college,
it
can't read.
wasn't the vaccines? Oh, sorry.
There could be an interaction effect. I don't know.
Could be
I don't know.
interaction. Yeah. All right, let me hit you with the last one I got. This apparently was, I mean, I'm not in academia, so I don't experience this, but there was some kind of virality to this one where this researcher published an article. It's called "Academia is Just a Job," and I think this came out as like a commentary in like Nature or something like that.
Okay.
And to her credit, it's only a page long, which never happens in academia in the first place. But she talks about how, historically, people have always called like academia, it's like a calling. It's like this little utopian society that's like an offshoot of the normal world, when in reality, it's just a job. And a lot of the pressures that are on academia now are creating stress just like jobs. And in some ways, like academia is like even more stressful than, other jobs. And that we need to, quit treating it like it's this utopian place when really it's just like a place where, you have to go get publish or perish, and the open science and the replication crisis and all this stuff that's going on here. And so I thought this was an interesting one. I don't know if you have any thoughts about it.
That's a really interesting article on a lot of fronts. Like, one, it's a page long,
Yeah,
which tells me that
kudos.
well, a kudos, but also I've been in the situation. It's like I could write 60 pages, or I could write one, and if it gets the same impact, I'll go with the one pager.
Probably you could argue it probably has more impact when it's a page than 60
More
pages.
people actually read it. But talking to the people that are in academia and a variety of different schools, they describe it as almost hand-to-hand intellectual combat. You get a bunch of smart people that maybe not cut out for other sort of parts of society. They find their way into academia, study this topic very deeply, but then you get all this infighting around departmental issues and like all this stuff you get in a normal sort of corporate environment, but like intensified for some reason in this community.
What's
And
funny?
they get paid so much less.
They get paid so little for that too, which is crazy. No, you just remind me of something. I texted you. I don't have it saved here, but I had sent you this article a while back where it showed intelligence levels actually go down when you get a PhD
Oh yeah.
versus like a master's or undergraduate degrees. And it's because to get a PhD, which is like the ticket into academia, it's actually less of a test in intelligence, more of a test of persistence and like what are you willing to deal with to get through this. And I remember you thought that was quite interesting.
Yeah, that was interesting. If I remember correctly, it was the correlation between the genetic correlation between intelligence and career attainment,
Yeah,
academic achievement rather. And yeah, the higher you go, specifically PhD, it starts seeing a dip. So yeah, to
yeah.
your point, it's not about, as they say, like PhD piled higher and deeper.
I'll higher and deeper. I think there's a whole comic about that. But dude, it's been fantastic having you back on the podcast. You gonna do it again? You want to keep doing these?
Yeah, well, we'll let the listeners decide.
Let them decide. We'll
I
give
was
them
fully
the gladiator finger where they give us the thumbs up or the thumbs down.
bring out the lions.
Bring them out. All right. Well, dude, awesome having you back on here. Where can people find you if they want to be in touch?
Contact Cole, and Cole will send me a message.
Right now, if it makes it through the great filter. So,
good to see you, bud.
Yeah, good to see you too. Well, you've been listening to Directionally Correct, the People Analytics podcast with your host, Cole Napper, and your previous co-host, Scott Hines, today's guest. Thanks for joining me, Scott.
Later.